This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Your paintbrush is your most powerful tool. It's the sword in a fantasy epic, the mystical artifact that can light your path to victory or plunge you into darkness amidst a pile of models you regret. Today, we're seizing control of that power. I'll show you how to wield your brush like a master, paint your best miniature yet, and even save time while doing it. The most important skill in miniature painting, more important than thinning your paint, mastering color theory, or even understanding volumes, is brush control. Now, I don't just mean the physical ability to guide your brush exactly where you want it, though that's definitely part of it. It's also about knowing where to place your brush in the first place and why. First, we must remember the brush is a tool. It's not just something to slap paint on a model. Wielding your brush without control is like swinging a sword blindfolded. You might hit something, but it probably won't be what you were aiming for. Your brush has two main parts: the belly, the larger midsection of the bristles, and the tip. Each has its own purpose, but they often work together. The tip of your brush should be dragon-slaying sharp. Over time, paint can build up in the bristles, causing the tip to lose its shape. Or with synthetic brushes, the tip might begin to curve. Now, not every brush in your collection needs a perfect point, but you'll absolutely want at least one brush with a pristine, needle-sharp tip for your work. The belly of your brush is equally important. For your primary brush, you want a large belly, which typically means using a size 1 or 2 brush. Smaller brushes like size 0 or 00 have tiny bellies, meaning that paint can dry out in the brush before it even reaches your model. A larger belly acts as a reservoir, holding enough paint to keep it wet and workable while you paint. When it comes to which part of the brush you should use, it depends on the size of the surface you're painting. For base coats on a 28mm model, I use the tip along with the front part of the belly, so about the first quarter of the brush touches the model. For larger figures like monsters, I might use up to 50% of the belly. But I never load my brush past that. Loading your brush more than halfway runs the risk of getting paint into the ferrule, which can cause brushes to split. If I need to cover more ground, I'll switch to a larger brush and still only use the front half of the belly. For more details on brush use, check out this video. When painting smaller details, I stick to just the tip of the brush, like the first 15% of it. This approach takes more time, but offers greater control and precision. As you're painting, try to keep the paint confined to the areas you want it. If you accidentally hit small details, don't worry about it. You can tidy those up later. But part of brush control is only hitting the areas we intend to paint. Before calling our base layers done, add a second layer if need be. We want our base layers to be truly opaque, with none of our zenithal or gray showing through. Having a strong foundation makes all the difference in bringing your miniature to life. Learning brush control can be difficult, but designing a website is easier than ever with Squarespace.
You know I love Squarespace, so I'm so excited about their new design intelligence, which empowers anyone to build a beautiful custom website and digital identity using cutting-edge AI tools. Combine that with Squarespace Payments, the easiest way to manage all your transactions in one place, and of course, my favorite flexible design templates with drag and drop features. Squarespace is a no-brainer for creating your perfect website. When you're ready to start, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use code Lyla to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. All right, back to painting.
When it's time to apply highlights and shadows, planning is everything. Now, whether you did a zenithal highlight or used a reference photo, the most important step is to actively think about where the shadows and highlights are going to be on your model. This isn't about letting your brush wander. It's about deliberate placement that you pre-planned. Start by asking yourself, where should the shadows begin and end? What shape will the shadows take to complement the form of this model? Are you leaving enough midtones visible to ensure a smooth transition? And is there enough room for the highlights to stand out? You can learn more about how to paint volumes in this video. For example, on the underside of this thigh, I'm painting a rectangle of darkness that wraps slightly around the curve of the leg. This shadow goes straight from under the knee all the way up to the edge of the boot. For the calf, I follow the same principle, shaping the shadow to flow naturally with the contours of the muscles, up and down the entire area. You can see that I still have plenty of mid-tone visible, with enough space to add my highlights later. These deliberate choices help maintain the realism and structure of your miniature. When you're ready to apply highlights, revisit these same questions. Where should the highlights begin and end? What shapes will best emphasize the contours of this miniature? If you're not sure where to place your highlights and shadows, try holding the model up to your eye as if your eye is your light source. Areas you can see will be highlights. Areas perpendicular to your view will be midtones, and areas you can't see will be shadows. Now, considering the highlight and shadow placement and how to control your brush can be overwhelming. But with practice, it becomes second nature, allowing you to paint intuitively and achieving stunning results faster. Now, those intricate details, which can be the most difficult part. I rely exclusively on the tip of my brush, along with having a stable base. Stability is crucial here. Rest your elbows on the table or on your knees for support. For extra stability, I like to rest my hand on the hook of the hobby holder. The hobby holder is my absolute favorite painting grip. I refuse to paint with anything else. Move slowly and delicately, applying just enough pressure that you can barely feel the brush touching the model. In your mind, focus exactly where you want to apply this layer of paint, and work very delicately to do so. This precision ensures sharp, clean details and avoids overpainting. If you need to, you can always practice painting circles and squares off to the side on a piece of paper. Try painting smaller and smaller circles and squares directly on top of each other, right at the center of each. Take all the time you need to practice on paper. It's far better than messing up your model. The biggest hurdle standing between you and improving could be that you're allowing your brush to control you instead of you control your brush. The thing is that the magic isn't in the brush, it's in the one holding it, and that's you. By mastering how to use your brush tip and belly, visualizing and planning where to place your shadows and highlights, and how to stabilize for precision, you're ready to conquer those gray miniatures once and for all. Brush control is a skill that takes time and practice to master, but with patience, it will become second nature. So the next time you pick up your brush, take a moment to plan, focus, and paint with intention. Master your brush and you'll unlock your full potential as a true miniature painting wizard. If you like what I do, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. Go join me on Patreon. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.